Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And I'm very sorry for leaving you guys MIA for about 2 weeks. There's a lot going on at the time, but now that all that's over, you know, we're just gonna get into this video. So today's book review. Actually, I changed this channel from Jax's Musical World to Jax's book reviews because I only do book reviews on this channel. I've done like a few guitar covers and stuff, but that's gonna be the guitar covers and stuff are just gonna be mainly for my musical channel, which is just only music, and then I have my Spanish channel, which is only Spanish, and then I have this channel, which is only book reviews, and I might add another channel, which is gonna probably be Jax's World, with just like vlogs and stuff, but I'll only post on there like once or twice a month because my life isn't that interesting. It's very interesting, but we sometimes we forget to vlog. And so Jax's book reviews, it's just gonna be book reviews, and then Jax's Spanish world is Spanish videos, like me speaking Spanish at the stores and stuff, asking for stuff in Spanish, and also lessons in Spanish. And then there's Jax's I forgot what the other one was called. Jax's Musical World, which is only for covers or tutorials and stuff. But yeah. Okay, I'm back. I just had to go and close the garage door because it kept creaking and it's so annoying. See, it's creaking again because someone keeps walking in and out. But basically, I'm going to be doing a book review on this book, Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. And it's actually a really good book. I really love this book. It's so nice. But yeah. So basically what happens in this book is, I think she's like 10 years old when her mom dies of cancer. So her dad is left to raise her alone. And I think if he hadn't had Macy, which is the main character, the narrator, I think so. I think she's the narrator. Yes. She's the narrator. It's in first person. But basically what happens is her dad would have probably went into depression if he didn't have to take care of Macy, because that was literally his world. Her mom was his world, basically. So basically what happens is her mom dies, her dad is left to take care of her, and before the mom dies, she leaves a long list of things that he has to do. I'm actually going to look for the paper, like the page where it says like some of the stuff that he has to do. Okay, so on the page number 1, so she writes things that the dad has to do for Macy because the mom would have had to do the thing, but you know. Okay, so number 1 is don't spoil her with toys, spoil her with books. I love that one. I would do that one too. I don't like toys that much at all, actually. And then number 2 is tell her you love her. Girls need the words. So number 3 is when she's quiet, you do the talking. Number 4 is give Macy $10 a week. Make her save too. Teach her the value of money. Number 5 is until she's 16, her curfew should be 10 o'clock, no exceptions. And then it says the list went on and on deep into the 50s because that's what the mom would have had to do if she was still there. But she's giving it to the dad and to Macy so that he knows what to do with her. Okay. It wasn't so much that she didn't trust him. She just wanted me to feel her influence even after she was gone. Dad reread it frequently, making notes in pencil, highlighting certain things, making sure he wasn't missing a milestone or getting something wrong. As I grew older, the list became a Bible of sorts. Not necessarily a rule book, but more a reassurance that all these things Dad and I struggled with were normal. One rule in particular loomed large for Dad. 25. When Macy looks so tired after school that she can't even form a sentence, take her away from the stress of her life. Find a weekend getaway that is easy and close, that lets her breathe a little. So that's basically what happens. She's tired, she misses her mom on that Monday, and her dad's asking her questions, and she literally won't even go to swim and stuff. She won't go to swim practice, she won't do anything at this point. She's not necessarily depressed, she just misses her mom right now, so that's really a big influence on her right now. So basically the dad takes her to this cabin and she meets this boy because he's in her closet. So he's in her closet. They were going to make the closet a library either way, but he's in there reading, which is such a coincidence. I think it's a really good coincidence. But basically what happens is she finds him there and she's like, who are you? And then he's tells her and stuff. They basically have this banter about just who they are and stuff and why they're there. And he was like, oh yeah, I've been waiting for someone to move into this cabin or house, whatever, for quite a while. So they become friends. They both read in that closet a lot until they become teenagers and they start like having feelings. You know what I mean? But they start like catching feelings for people, well, for each other actually. And basically, I think she starts her period. I'm actually gonna look for the spot and look. 1 second. Okay, so this is like the little list, the Bible of sorts, I guess you could say. But it says right here, it says, Dad was better, but not a very... Okay, so it says, our first summer with the cabin, my dad and I were there nearly every day with one trip home, late July, for a visit from his brother Kenneth. Kenneth had 2 daughters, a wife, Britt, whose idea of affection was a cupped hand around my shoulder. So when I came to her whispering in mild horror that I thought I'd started my period, she handed me with the anticipated emotional sterility. I don't know what that is, guys. Buying me a box of pads and a box of tampons and having her younger daughter, Karen, awkwardly explain the basic application process. Dad was better, but not by a very wide margin. Once we returned to the cabin that weekend, he referred to Mom's list, where at position 23 she had written, when Macy starts her period, make sure she doesn't have any questions about what is happening with her body. I know it's awkward. Nu amor. I think they're speaking French, because amor means love. I think it says my love. But she needs to know what is amazing and perfect, and if I were there, I would tell her the story in the envelope marked 23. Dad opened it, his cheeks pinked. He coughed, correcting. Your mother first started her, I grabbed the letter from his hands and jogged upstairs to the comfort of my library, which is her closet. I used to have the worst cramps, it began, and the sight of her writing made my breastbone ache. They would hit me at the most unexpected times, shopping with my friends or at a birthday party. Midol helped. I think it's a medicine when I discovered it, but what helped the most was visualizing the pain evaporating from my stomach. I would imagine it again and again until the pain subsided. I don't know that it will work for you or if you will need this, but if you do, imagine my voice helping. You will be tempted to hate this thing that your body does, but it's your body's way of telling you everything is working, and that is a miracle. But most of all, mil docina. I'm trying to say that right. I don't speak French. I speak Spanish, guys. Not French. Just Spanish. Imagine how proud I am to share this with you. You're growing up. Starting my period was the process that eventually let me get pregnant with you when I was ready. Treat your body carefully. Take care of it. Don't let anyone abuse it, and don't abuse it yourself. Every inch of your body I made diligently. Ooh, she's using no big words. Months I slaved over you. You are my masterpiece. I miss you. I love you. May. So that's the envelope that was marked 23. That's what it said in that envelope. So, yeah, that's basically what happened. And basically they start catching feelings for each other. But they never really take the next step to the point where they're boyfriend and girlfriend until they're about 16, I think. But then she's at home. She's at like an hour away because her house, she has a cabin in her house. She has a house and then she has a cabin about an hour away. And then Elliot is next door from that cabin. So she's still at her house. They text and they call each other. But basically he's at a party. It's New Year's, actually. He's at a party and she's at a party, but they're in 2 different parties. Like, he's at a party an hour away and she's at a party another hour away. But basically, he basically, like opens his heart to her and he's like, will you marry me, this and that, and then she doesn't say yes. And then he tells her she loves him. Like, he tells her that he says, I love you, and she doesn't say anything. So basically, yeah. And then he gets drunk, and then she feels bad because she didn't say anything, and she didn't like how the call ended. So she's crying, actually. She's crying, and then her dad comes up and is like, what's wrong? And then she's like, can I drive to the cabin because there's something wrong with Elliot? But so he's like, okay. And then she drives to the cabin, and then he's not at his house or at her cabin. So basically, she calls Elliot's phone, and Elliot doesn't pick up, but his friend Christian does. So Christian tells her where the party's at, so she drives over there. And then when she gets there, she finds him drunk and naked with Emma, which is his ex-boyfriend. But basically, like, she thinks he had, And then, I'm just going to tell you one thing. When the dad said she could go to the cabin, he told her to call him. So, like, he said, oh, call me. And she was like, okay, I will when I get to the cabin. He was like, okay, call me when you get to the cabin. So, basically, she didn't call him. So, he drives to the cabin. And then when they're driving, I think they're driving home. Yeah. I think she was asleep. And then he came inside the cabin and was like, oh, why didn't you call me? And she was like, oh, I forgot. So, basically, they're driving home. And they get in a car crash. And then the dad dies. And she doesn't. So... she, for all these years, she's like for 10, okay, so she doesn't talk to Elliot for 10 years because she was blaming it on Elliot because if it weren't for Elliot, like her worrying for Elliot, she would have called him. So she blamed Elliot for a lot of, like, for about 10 years until she actually, like, kept thinking about it to the point where she found out it was actually her fault. But, well, that's what she said. I actually don't know. I don't know whose fault it was. I mean, like, it's just a coincidence. I just think that. But basically, 10 years later, they meet each other in a coffee shop or something like that. But she's with her friend, and she was a doctor. She turned into a doctor over those 10 years. But basically, she's out of med school. She's a pediatrician. That's what I want to be when I grow up, actually, guys. I wanted to be a pediatrician ever since I was, like, 7. But, yeah. So, I literally love babies. But she's a pediatrician, and he doesn't know anything about her. And he's also... Okay, so Elliot used to read a book a day. At least a book a day. That's me, too. I used to read a book a day. But he started becoming a writer. And, yeah, a writer. So, basically... they meet each other and they just, like, catch up. And she's actually engaged. And then Elliot is actually in a relationship. He's not engaged. He's just girlfriend and boyfriend. They're just a couple. And basically what happens is, like, right when Elliot sees Macy, like, after he sees her, he breaks up with his girlfriend. But what's her name again? Macy doesn't break up with her fiance until later on. But it's not necessarily a breakup. It was, like, the cutest breakup I've ever seen. Like, it was the most gentle breakup I've ever seen. Literally, I'm not even kidding. There was no screaming because they weren't committed. Like, they were both going through a heartbreak. Not heartbreak necessarily, but they both lost people. Sean, which is Macy's fiance, he actually went through, like, he had to cut off the engagement with his other girlfriend. Like, he had another girlfriend and he had a daughter, actually. But he had to cut off that engagement because she went to work and then she came back on cocaine and something like that. But she was on drugs and then she broke off her engagement. They were both... Okay, so the reason why they were engaged was because they were sexually attracted, but they weren't actually, like, attracted to each other. I don't know how to explain it. Like, they didn't love each other. They liked each other, but they didn't love each other. So that's basically what happens. So they basically... She cuts off the engagement. Well, they both cut off the engagement because he already knows she was going to do it. But they cut off the engagement, and after that, she just gets with Elliot. And then they move into an apartment together. So she leaves out of Sean's apartment, and then she's living in an apartment she's renting out for the month and stuff. But basically, when she tells Elliot that, Elliot's like, no, we're going to move into a thing together. And basically, he's moving upstate New York. No, not upstate New York. He's moving, I don't know, but this takes place in California. Close to where I live. Not necessarily close. I think it's like a few hours away from where I live. This takes place for a few hours away from where I live. But, yeah, that's basically what happens. They get together. They live in an apartment. The end. But that's the end of this video, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below if you like this video. And if you'd like to see another one, just like it. Until next time, guys. Bye.